There are nights when no matter how much you think, the answer never comes. Work, family, the future. The same thoughts circle around and around inside your head, and before you know it, it's 2, 3 in the morning. Why can't I get this right? What would the correct choice even look like? The more you ask, the more your mind fills with a kind of fog. Thinking is important. Of course it is. But there are times when thinking too hard actually pulls us further away from what we're looking for. Today, I'd like to share a teaching from the world of Zen, something called a koan. A koan is a kind of question that a Zen teacher gives to a student. But it isn't the kind of question you can answer with logic. The harder you think, the more lost you become, and yet, somewhere deep inside that maze, something essential is waiting. This story comes from China, more than 1,000 years ago, from the world of Zen. There was a young monk, bright, earnest, devoted. From childhood he had read the sutras with care and listened to his teacher's every word without missing a syllable. His only wish was to one day awaken. And so he practiced, day after day, with everything he had. One afternoon his teacher called him in and handed him a question, a koan. "Before you were born," the teacher said, "before your parents were born, what was your original face? Bring it to me." The young monk turned the words over in his mind. His original face, before he was born, where would he even begin to look? He searched through the sutras. He recalled every teaching his master had ever given. He thought and thought and thought. Nothing came. A week passed, then a month. He stopped sleeping properly. He lost his appetite. The need to find the answer coiled inside him like a knot he couldn't loosen. Pause. One morning he was crouching beside a well, drawing water in a daze. For once his mind had gone quiet, not because he had chosen to rest, but because he was simply too exhausted to think anymore. And then, the water dropped into the bucket. A small, soft sound. Cold droplets touched his face. He froze. He hadn't been thinking about anything, and yet, something had arrived. He couldn't put it into words, but he knew. He ran to his teacher. He stood before him and bowed, deeply, silently, no words. The teacher smiled slowly and said in a quiet voice, "Ah, so you've finally come." It was the first time the young monk had ever wept. There is something very important hidden inside this story. A koan is a question, but not the kind we're used to. What is 1 + 1? How should I take this medicine? These are questions that thinking can answer. But a koan is different. What was your face before you were born? What is the sound of one hand? There is no logical answer to be found. Zen teaches us something quietly radical. The thinking mind has limits. We rely on our minds for almost everything. Planning, analyzing, weighing options. That capacity is genuinely valuable. But when it comes to questions like how should I live, or what truly matters, or why am I suffering, thinking alone cannot reach those depths. That's what Zen is pointing toward. The territory beyond thinking is sometimes called wisdom in Buddhism, and it is different from knowledge. Knowledge grows the more you learn, but wisdom appears when you let go. That was what happened to the young monk. He had searched and searched, thought and thought, until he was hollowed out, and in that hollow moment something arrived. Zen would say it wasn't because he stopped thinking. It was because his clinging to an answer had finally released. There is a word in Buddhism, discrimination. The constant mental act of sorting things into good and bad, right and wrong, gain and loss. We do this all day long without even noticing. And it isn't wrong exactly. But when we grip it too tightly, suffering follows. Am I making the right choice? What if I'm wrong? That endless sorting wears the heart thin. A koan is a kind of device. It works the thinking mind so hard that eventually, that grip loosens on its own. And in that moment of release, Zen says, what appears is the self that was always already there. You might be thinking, this is all very interesting, but Zen practice has nothing to do with my life. Actually, I think it's closer than it seems. Imagine you're stuck on a problem at work, really stuck. You stare at your desk, go through the documents again, turn it over in your mind from every angle. And then later that evening, standing in the shower or gazing out the window at nothing in particular, it comes to you, just like that. That isn't coincidence. When we step back from focused thinking, a different part of the mind begins to move. Researchers have found that in a relaxed, unfocused state, the brain's default mode network becomes active, and unexpected connections emerge. Zen may have understood this, in its own way, long before modern science gave it a name. The same thing happens in our relationships. Why did they say that? What should I have done differently? We replay the moment, analyze it, feel hurt, analyze it again. That loop can pull us under. When you find yourself there, try something. Just once, set the thinking aside. Make a cup of tea and drink it slowly. Step outside and look up at the sky. If there's water nearby, watch the surface for a while. You don't need to solve anything. You don't need to arrive at an answer. Just be here, in this moment. That is enough. Parents will recognize this too. When a child is struggling, the instinct is to fix it, to find the cause, to correct the pattern. That impulse comes from love. But sometimes what a child needs most is simply someone sitting beside them, without an agenda. Not bringing answers, just being there. That quiet presence, Zen holds it as something deeply powerful. And for those of you who have begun to think more about aging, about time, about what comes at the end, this teaching may speak to you as well. What happens when we die? Was my life enough? Trying to answer these questions with logic alone tends to feed the fear, not quiet it. But if just for a moment you could set the question gently down, and simply feel the warmth of this morning's breakfast, or the soft light coming through a window, something is already there. There is just one thing I'd like to leave with you today: the desire to find an answer. That is something precious. But the desperate clinging to one, that is often what hurts us. Pause. When I say let go of thinking, I don't mean give up. I mean this: when you are tired, set your bag down on the ground, just for a moment. You can pick it up again, but right now in this moment, you don't have to carry anything. You're allowed to simply stand here. The fact that you listened to this today, that you are open to it, means the journey toward your own answers has already begun. Zen teachers say, the deeper the question, the stronger the life force of the one who carries it. Even without an answer, the act of questioning itself is shaping you, quietly, in ways you may not yet see. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope the next time brings you something that sits gently in your heart as well.